Hi, and welcome to How to Interrupt Negativity Spirals. This is a heady one. That's a little bit of a pun, but anyways, I want to start by saying this is very serious business that, in my opinion, the greatest spiritual battle of our generation is the battle for our minds. If you struggle with negativity spirals, you're not alone. Sometimes we think it's just us, no one else deals with it. That is not true. The problem is trying to find ways out of a negativity spiral when you're in the middle of it, because we're not thinking correctly. The other problem is all this time in negativity spirals, we can't get that back, nor can we get back some of the words or behaviors we exhibited during that time. So today we'll learn about strategies to fight against negativity spirals. It's not a quick fix, but the good news is it's fixable. So, did you know the average person has more than thousands of thoughts per day? I've heard, you guys can Google it, I've heard 6,500 to 30,000 thoughts per day, which is quite the range. More has been discovered about our minds in the last 20 years than in all of the time before that. So we're really learning a lot about our minds right now. 60 to 80% of medical visits have a stress-related component. Also, 75 to 90% of mental, physical, and behavioral illnesses come from our thought life. Research suggests that the vast majority of illnesses are a direct result of a toxic thought life. One negative thought, which lasts maybe 90 seconds, can create a spiral that can last from 15 minutes to several hours and even days. Some of the resources for these facts come from Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. I will put the link to her book in the show notes. In this video, I'll talk about the negativity bias. It's so good to know about this. Examples of negative and positive thoughts. And you may be thinking, well, I know this. Some of them are a little tricky, so we'll talk about them. And then changing thought patterns. I have a quote for you. No one can create negativity or stress within you. Only you can do that by virtue of how you process your world. And that's from Wayne Dwyer. And I also have a Bible verse, which is 2 Corinthians 10:5. And it says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Tall order, we can do this. So let's break down the negativity bias. Now, this comes from an article from Dr. Lee Jerome. It was entitled How to Recognize Negative Thoughts Cycles and Stop Obsessing. Okay, I will also link that in the show notes. Many of our thoughts are neutral, but our brain has a negativity bias, which can lead to excess worry, rumination, and moodiness. Our brains are constantly processing perceptions, emotions, thoughts, sensations. The mind naturally drifts from one thought to another. This is the brain's healthy default mode network. Some people say DMN, default mode network, which also is correlated with creativity and goal setting. So it can be good, but if we just let it go, it can be bad. Although most thoughts are neutral, when we experience negative stimuli, the brain lights up with activity. You know why it does that? Because the brain's job is to protect us. So when it sees negativity or senses negativity, it's like, oh, what should we be aware of? This keeps us safe, constantly searching for danger in order to protect us. So the brain is actually, really trying to protect us. However, if we're not aware of what's going on, it can really lead down a road we don't want to go to. All negativity is viewed as a threat. So that's the way our brain sees it. Even if it's not life-threatening, even gossip, all of the things that are negative, the brain sees as a threat. So knowing how our minds work help us be less critical of our tendency to notice negative things. You guys, it is built into us for a reason, obviously, to keep us safe. So, if we're not aware of the tendency of the brain, this can lead to disordered thinking toward the negative options. In fact, the more negative the thinking, the smaller the range of thought options, meaning we're so stuck in negative thinking, we can't see our way to other options, positive thoughts, positive options, because we're in that spiral. The spiral can lead to negative behavior and ruin relationships due to the habit of negativity and expecting the worst from people. We really need to get a handle on this. These negative thought loops can lead to insomnia, physical illness, anxiety, low self-esteem, catastrophic thinking, and depression. And you know what? This reminds me, I have a 10-year-old granddaughter who is obsessed with tornadoes. If you live in the Midwest, you know that tornadoes are a part of that geography, right? And so you prepare for that. You have a place, a shelter where you can go, or you have a plan. There are warning signals that tell you tornado is coming. We can prepare, not exactly the same, but we can prepare for these negative thought spirals. So we're going to talk about some things to look for to be prepared, because like I said before, if we wait until we're in the spiral, those options, we're not seeing them. Before we get to some solutions, let's look at examples of negative and positive thoughts. Positive thoughts can include gratitude, love that one, hope, optimism, curiosity, forgiveness, faith, accountability, self-regard, self-efficacy, and love. Self-regard is a little tricky. What it is it's not saying I am great at everything. Self-regard is such a great neutral space. It says I'm good at this, I need work at that. These are positive thoughts. This is just a start. There are more. Now we need to get into some of the negative thoughts. Tell me if you've ever thought of these as negative thoughts or just a part of your natural life. First of all, perfectionism. I have brought this up when I'm doing training, and I get such pushback. I should be my very best and I need to be perfect. It's a lot of stress on a body. Let me just tell you that. I'm not going to fight with anyone. I'm just saying. Pleaser. That is that I need to please everyone so that they'll like me. You guys, I'm so sorry. I have a news flash for you. Not everyone is going to like you. Failure. This brings us into the past, which can lead to depression, ruminating on the past, and then we don't want to try anything new because we're just thinking about that failure. Revenge, thinking about and waiting for that time to strike back. Self-doubt, unable to believe in my own abilities, so no self-confidence. Injustice, the voice telling me I've been wronged. It dwells on the past and injustices. I want to tell you that for several years I spent teaching inmates in jail social emotional skills, and we use some of these negative thoughts for them. The most common one was revenge, injustice, and you guys would be surprised, I'll get to it in a minute, deprivation. There are feelings that there is never enough of anything. Victimized, it's not my fault, I have no accountability for the situation. Oh my goodness. Comparisons, belief that I don't have what others and I don't measure up. Boy, comparison is a liar and a thief. That's all I want to say. Fixer, belief that it's my responsibility to make everything right. So this was the other thought that the inmates struggled with so much. Could you imagine being incarcerated and being a fixer? There's not much you can do, right? And then catastrophizing, thinking everything is awful and it's only going to get worse. So I have to tell you, one day we were working through this worksheet in jail, and I sat down, I thought, I'd done this like 5 years ago. I'm going to do this again now and just see what my results are. And my most negative thought believe it or not, was deprivation. Feelings that there's never enough and there never will be. And that probably came from a childhood of lack of resources and money and, that kind of thing. And I was so shocked that it followed me into my adulthood. It does not apply to me. Okay. Learning to turn the tide. The good news is that these spirals can be changed. Instead of allowing the spiral, become curious about your thoughts. Awareness is the first step, always the first step. Step back from your negative thoughts and view them from a neutral perspective. How did I get there? It's like the deprivation. What is happening to me right now? Okay, I can see comparisons. Oh yeah, I'm competitive, but the deprivation took me by surprise. So awareness is the first step. And then I want you to be really on the lookout for possible triggers. This could be words, it could be people, it could be places, it could be a look someone gives you. Just be really aware of those situations that are triggers for you. We really want to be prepared, or if we're not ready, avoid those, okay? So your daily practice is, once you build awareness and the ability to look at your thoughts from a neutral perspective, I'm going to tell you to go back to the last video where we did what I call think, talk, think. Think about your thoughts. That's awareness. Talk well to myself and others. You guys may not realize this, but how you talk to yourself is also how you talk to others. You're going to deny it because I've taught this a ton, but once you think about it, you're going to be like, yeah, it kind of does apply. And then finally, thank. That's your gratitude. This really, it's hard, but it's easy. Think, talk, think. Think about your thoughts, metacognition. Talk well to yourself and others. Thank. For me, thank God that you're bringing this awareness. I wish I had this awareness 30 years ago. It would have helped me so much. But I'm happy for it now, right? Here are some reminders. Negative thoughts are normal. Languishing in them is not. That's a choice. Look for creative ways to reduce stress and redirect yourself if you're in a negative spiral. Recently, I had a bad morning. I mean, it wasn't just one thing. Before I even got out of bed, it was like 3 things. And I'm like, oh, no, we're not doing this. So I happened to have time, and I did something I haven't done in years, is I put on my hiking gear, crossed the street, that's all I have to do, and hiked up the mountain, and it was gorgeous and beautiful, and it took me out of that negative spiral that I was in. That's an option for me. Some other ideas include journaling, which I also love, arts and crafts, cook, sing, dance. Some people like to clean. I don't know what you like to do, but right? Do it. Have that as a plan. These ideas can create dopamine and actually boost your immune system. So I have some reflective questions to ask yourself. Which negative thought example resonated with you? Remember, mine was deprivation. So another question, what could you do to change that negative thought habit? So we've had several ideas. My final encouragement to you: understanding your brain's natural tendencies and knowing your own triggers are a huge start to changing negative spirals. You've got this. Build skills and become your best you. And don't forget to be amazing.